Hey, good morning, people. It's good to be with you. This last week, we've been tracing the journey of Jesus through his last week of his life. And we started off on Palm Sunday, celebrating Jesus coming into Jerusalem, the declaration that he is the King. He's not hiding that from anybody anymore. He is the King, and he's the King of Kings. And then we traced it during the week. We come now to Thursday. Thursday's an incredible day. It's a real build-up to the Friday. The crucifixion is soon to happen, and it's Passover time in Jerusalem. And the disciples come to Jesus and say, Jesus, it's Passover. We need to celebrate the Passover. Jesus gives them instructions to find a place, and they find this place. They set it up. Jesus arrives. That whole beautiful picture of the washing of the disciples' feet takes place, as Jesus shows the beautiful, humble picture of what it is to truly serve people. Even though he's the King, he's serving. But the intriguing thing about this particular dinner is what took place towards the end. As they broke bread together, Jesus said to his disciples, this is a picture of my body which is about to be broken for you. Eat this in remembrance of me. And then after supper, we read how Jesus took the cup and he gave it to his disciples, and he said, guys, this is the cup. It's a picture of my blood, but it's a picture of the new covenant. Luke chapter 22, Jesus refers to a new covenant. Now, this would have been normal terminology to the people in the sense of a covenant, but a new one, that was new to them all. And so Jesus goes on to talk about the new covenant in his blood. The intriguing thing was, what was wrong with the old covenant? Why do we need a new one? Well, the old one was a covenant that was made with Abraham about the prophetic word that there would be a nation of Israel that would come. And tied to that was the issue of the law through Moses. And so the people were told, if you want to keep the new covenant, if you keep the old covenant and want to please God, you've got to keep the law. You've got to be obedient to what the law has to say. And so the scribes and the Pharisees spent their lives just propounding this issue of legalism. Anyway, Jesus came along and he breathed a beautiful breath of fresh air and said, you know, that was a good picture of what was still to come. But now I come to give you a new covenant. Jesus told a parable about a man who has set up a party, invited a whole bunch of people, and they came to the party. But there was one man who was inappropriately dressed, and he walked into the party that day and he had the wrong robe on. And the man who was in charge of the party, the owner, the king, the rich man, whoever he may have been, he was angry with this man and said, how dare you come to my party wearing that robe? Were you not given a new robe? And the man said to him, but look, what's wrong with this robe? This robe is looking good. I've patched it up. I've worked hard. It may not be quite as clean and white as the other people's, but man, I've worked hard on this robe. And Jesus said that this man said to the man, cast him out of there because he's wearing the wrong robe. Now that is a picture of the old and the new covenant. The old covenant was one where you had to try and fix your life. You had to try and be a better person. You had to try and impress God with your supposed good behavior. That didn't work. That didn't cut it. You couldn't do it perfectly enough. And Jesus knew that. He said, you're never going to cut it perfectly. You're never going to be able to be good enough to come to the party in your old robe. You've got to accept the new one. And so that which was old was taken off, and the people handed that in, and it was the old covenant of self-effort and self-improvement, and I've got to make this thing happen. And Jesus so beautifully reassures them, you'll never make it happen. Only I can do that. And he gives to us today this robe of righteousness. People, that's the new covenant. And Jesus clearly says that this is the new covenant in his blood. His blood was about to be shed. He was about to die a cruel death upon a cross. And we are blessed today because of the sacrifice that Jesus made. Our blessing today came because of the pain and the shedding of his blood, and because he sacrificed, we today are blessed. That's new covenant stuff. We don't have to try and patch the old robe anymore. Don't have to try and please God with our self-improvement and our self-effort, and I'm going to try harder, and hey, I've tried that, it's not going to work. We receive from Jesus the robe of righteousness because of the blood of the new covenant. We're going to talk about the shedding of that blood tomorrow, but today so much is happening in the life of Jesus. The washing of the feet, the supper together, the revelation that Judas was going to be the one who would betray him. They leave there, they sing a hymn, they leave, they go through the valley, the Kidron Valley, to Gethsemane, and he gets betrayed and he gets taken to Caiaphas' house. All of this stuff is happening on the Thursday night. But today we remember that all of that happened because of the new covenant. The reason we get blessed by a new covenant is because it causes us to become a new creation in Christ. The old has passed away. All that self-effort stuff we spoke about is no longer necessary because we now are new as a result of the new covenant. I hope you get that. Critical that you do. Have a great day. We've got our service of silence on Thursday evening. I hope you can make it. It's an incredible service as we have the Easter story read to us in the most beautiful environment of just sitting and contemplating and sharing that evening together in silence as this amazing story gets read to us. I really hope that you're able to make it tonight at the church. 6:30, I think, 7 o'clock. Phone in and check for the time. But we'll see you there. Bye-bye, everybody.